Alright, so the Samsung Note 20 Ultra has been around for about 2 years now. And if you're asking yourself whether you should get this device, the short answer is yes. The only thing that should worry you is the battery of the particular device because of two reasons. If you're buying a second-hand phone, every single person that you might buy from could have been used this phone in a different way, which would affect the current battery health. The second thing is that even if you're buying a new phone off the shelf, after 2 years, the battery capacity still will slightly, but not too much. But anyway, talking about the design of the phone. If you had ever held a Note 10 or a 10 Plus, the only gripe I ever had with a Note 10 series is the 60Hz display and the mediocre camera setup. And practically this is the exact same phone with a better display, better set of cameras, and technically a better battery life. But the one major issue that I would always have with the Note 20 Ultra phone in particular, especially with this camera bump, before I got the phone, was that I always had this idea that it's going to be this chunky, huge 7-inch display, behemoth, brick, difficult to use, and so on. To my surprise, when I took this out of the box, it was extremely light, it was extremely well balanced, like it's not like the camera island is going to push or pull your phone. And even though I've been carrying this for like a month now, I've been carrying it without any case, it tends to be slippery, but it's not nearly as bad as a, let's say, Xperia phone and so on. This phone in particular, I got from a friend who has been using it for about 1.5 years now. I could have bought a new phone, but for the actual real-life purposes of this review, I would have rather used, a phone that has been used and so on. My friend has been using it in a TPU case, so in particular, there are no scuffs or scratches. The camera lens has not been scratched at all, if you can actually even see that. Let me see if I can refocus. Yeah, there's no scratches, no cracks, and so on. Even the charging port here hasn't really been scuffed when you miss your charger and so on. The S Pen chassis is also good, so like design wise there are no scratches on the screen, although it's a fingerprint magnet, I agree, definitely, but it has held up after 1.5 years of usage in like a great shape. My friend uses it without any actual screen protector, and I'm gonna try and get the reflection off the light. Yeah, see, there are no scratches or micro scratches or anything, so design wise this held up pretty well. If we're talking about a display, in all due honesty, this is definitely the best display you're gonna find on any given device. And that kind of makes me sad about the other manufacturers because, this is a 2-year-old device, and many manufacturers, whether it's Xiaomi, Oppo, Vivo, Sony, Nokia, or whatever, you're coming up with, a flagship after flagship after flagship after flagship, and something that's 2 years old literally mops the floor with every single one of them. And I really do mean obliterates the competition, simply because one of the trends that I hate with modern phones is that they're rounded edges and intrusions and so on. This is one of the very few phones, the only other one that I can actually think of is Xperia 1 series, that it has an actual rectangle of a display. I'm not gonna get those curved edges and then I have intrusions with videos and gameplay and whatnot. So the display is brilliant. Sunlight, direct sunlight, never had issues. It gets extremely bright. A lot of people have been reporting screen burn-in and green lines, and especially a haloing effect over the camera. And the truth is that you have to reduce your screen brightness. This is an OLED panel. OLED panels are prone to burn in, like if you leave your screen on for a very long period of time, or your screen is too bright all the time, like that's gonna happen. Like, it's technology, everything wears and tears, and you cannot avoid that, but there are measures that you can take to actually save that. The camera experience for me has been absolutely great when it comes to the back cameras. Where I have a problem is the front camera, and this is me on my little bike going shopping. No matter what I do with a front-facing camera, and I thought that I had a dirty lens or some water got in or anything. No, there is a weird filtery haloing effect with the selfie camera, no matter what I did. Like if you look at the actual trees, like they are so blurry, and there's just some very extremely weird effect with that particular camera. If we switch on to the front camera, the pictures are absolutely astonishing, and I know that you cannot really catch this on the camera that I'm using to record, and I'm terrible at editing videos. And of course, there's always going to be that Samsung particular issue of haloing like around objects if you're looking towards the sky and so on. But the overall quality image of this 108 megapixel shooter is absolutely amazing. You're gonna get a bit of a, if you ever played Need for Speed Most Wanted back in 2005, we used to call that a piss filter. And Samsung does that with all of its photos. Like, they are very yellowy, warm, saturated, and so on. But, these are photos that you can depend on if you like posting on social media and whatever. But yeah, the camera, the back cameras are absolutely awesome, whether it's zoom, video recording, or whatever. Front camera, if you take a lot of selfies, they're going to be decent, but for my personal experience, they have been a little bit weird. Battery life has been absolutely amazing. Now, keep in mind, this particular device here is the Snapdragon variant, and I will explain to you my way of usage. So like this right now, as you can see, I had 4.5 hours of screen on time, and I still have 44% battery left. But what is it that I do? Most people, they use their phones and they turn everything on. And for me in particular, I do the opposite. I have, 27 deep sleeping apps. Everything that I don't need and I don't use immediately, whether it's 9gag, my chess app, browser, Formula 1, whatever, Meituan, I live in China by the way, Reddit, YouTube and so on. Every single app that I'm not using on a daily basis, and that's pretty much everything apart from WeChat where I get messages or my music player. Everything is in deep sleep. If I don't need you right now, do not use up my battery. Go on. Also, this phone is capable of 5G. I honestly have no need for 5G. Like, every YouTube video that I watch works perfectly fine on 4G, 1080p. Downloads pretty fine. Like, I never honestly had any need for 5G unless it's a very particular scenario where for some reason I have no 4G connectivity, and then I will turn on 5G because here in China you have an antenna on every freaking corner. Like, we really do. So here the real case scenario is that 5G is actually realistically better than 4G, and we do have it everywhere. And yeah, that would be the battery life. Camera software. Software is absolutely amazing. Again, this is where the software meets the utilization of the hardware. And there are just little tweaks and things and like just improve the everyday quality of life. Software is amazing. There are a lot of customization options with Samsung themes and so on. Everybody who's been a Samsung user, like, it's a very mature software. Everybody who's been using Samsung phones for a very long period of time knows exactly what I'm talking about. I don't really have to sell you on the software side, but it's a feeling where you don't know what polished software should look like until you get a Samsung phone. Then you realize that, like, yeah, that's it. So yeah, that would be battery, cameras, design, display, software. Performance has been awesome. This is a Snapdragon 865, and I still to this day maintain that this is a better chip than the 888. This is a better chip, better chip than Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 because it does not overheat and it's very thermally and power efficient. So it will drain less battery. It will not overheat, and performance is exactly the same. Whether you play video games or you shoot videos or whatever you do, there is absolutely no performance issues between the 8 Gen 1, the 888, the 865, and even 855, and you can go back to as even 845, and you will be able to play games. And if we talk about games, like I play Formula 1 mobile racing, I play Honor of Kings, Chinese version here, Valor of Kings, and so on and so forth. Like, I played Fortnite on this device, although I installed it because in China it doesn't really work that great because of connectivity issues, but you get the point. Like, this phone will chew through everything, and unlike most other phones, it will absolutely not overheat. Like, it's actually better performer than modern flagships. As for music, I haven't downloaded. Okay, I guess I can play Samsung's Over the Horizon. So, why did I do the test? I know that you cannot really hear the, audio quality and so on, but you can hear if it cracks or it doesn't. At the absolute max volume, particular songs, especially if I'm looking to something like rock and roll, there will be slight distortion. And when I say slight, I'm a music producer. I make a lot of my own music, and I hear that most people won't. But let's say 2 notches below the maximum, you're going to get perfect sound. The speakers are very, very clear. Like, you're not gonna get a ton of bass because it's phone speakers. But when people say bass on the phone, they actually mean this sense of audio clarity, the 3D immersive sound, and combine that with this absolutely gorgeous panel, and you're gonna have a great experience. Like, I often catch myself using this phone when I'm like cooking in the kitchen or whatever, and I play music on it rather than what I would do before, which would be like, connect to a Bluetooth speaker and so on. So this will give you the great idea of how good the speakers are. When it comes to Bluetooth audio in the earbuds, of course, absolutely perfect. You got Dolby Atmos, you can tune the equalizer on the phone and so on. They got you covered in everywhere. One thing that I forgot to say about battery, charging speeds. From 0 to 50 to even 60, this phone gets, really fast. Actually, from 0 to 70, it's about 30-35 minutes. But then from 70 to 100, this phone tends to go very slow, which is a good thing. Like, if you're on a run, if you just got home from work and you gotta go night out and whatnot, you're gonna get a very quick top up in half an hour and you're good to go, and it'll definitely last you through the night, even if it's like at 70-75%. The fact that it's taking such a slow time from 70 to 100 is good, simply because it will prolong the battery longevity over time. So even though this is a 1.5-year old phone, I regularly get 6 hours and more of screen on time. But like I said, I have a very specific way of using the phone. If you're a heavy user with a lot of location, navigation, and all your apps are turned on and so on, you're probably looking at about 5 hours of screen on time. So the bottom line is this: should you get this phone? I checked the prices here in China of the Snapdragon Chinese variant, and the prices here of a new device are around 4,000 RMB, which is approximately 500 bucks. This phone for 500 bucks absolutely chews and obliterates everything that comes out as a modern flagship, whether it's a 888 Snapdragon phone or an 8 Gen 1 phone. This is such a perfect, unique, full package that I cannot even explain that there is no need to buy anything other than this device. For probably in the United States it would be, let's say, 600 bucks. This will absolutely obliterate any other phone that you can buy. If you have enough money, if you want to buy a new phone for yourself, forget about everything new that came this year and buy this. And you will not regret it, not 1 second. If I have forgotten to say anything, ask me down in the comments below and I will be sure to answer. And no, this is not a paid review. My channel is not monetized. I have not enough subscribers, and of course nobody in their right mind would pay me to advertise their phones, especially if they're 2 years old. Bye bye.